What will be on the test? That's a favorite question students, usually high school students, ask their teachers all the time. They want to know what they are responsible for and what they can skip. But today we're not talking about a history exam or an English exam, but the test of life itself. What are we responsible for? What will be on the test? Jesus narrows it down to two commandments: love God and love your neighbor. I think it was St. Teresa of Calcutta who said that when we stand before the throne of God, the only thing we will be judged on is how we loved. Jesus was not asked for the top two commandments, but only one. But he links the two together. Some writers describe it as two sides of the very same coin. In practical terms, it means we have to look upward and outward. We need to be attentive to our prayer life, but prayer without love of neighbor is incomplete. The Apostle John, in his first letter, was very blunt. He wrote, "If someone says he loves God but hates his brother or sister, he is a liar. For he cannot love God whom he has not seen if he does not love his brother or sister whom he has seen." Dorothy Day said, "I really only love God as much as I love the person I love the least." I really only love God as much as I love the person I love the least. Sometimes the love of neighbor focuses more on family than anything else. And sometimes we have to admit that we fail in our efforts to love them. Some years ago, the Dallas Morning News carried a letter from a young woman prompted by the death of her mother. A part of it read, "Mom lived nearby. It would have been easy for me to drop in for a cup of tea and a hug. When I called Mom on the phone, our conversation was brief and unhurried. I feel ashamed of the times I cut her short with, 'Sorry, I have to run.' The world is filled with children like me," she wrote. "I hope many of them will see this and profit from it." Today's gospel is an invitation for you and me to take inventory of our lives and ask ourselves if perhaps we may be like the woman who wrote the letter. And while person-to-person relationships are important, our love of our brother or sister needs to be examined in terms of social justice as well. How do we reach out in compassion and understanding to the marginalized in our society? Do we support basic human rights for all? While in school, we usually knew the precise date that we would have a test. I always hated those teachers that would give unannounced quizzes. The same in life. Some folks know because of their age or their health situation that their test of life is approaching sooner rather than later. However, others are faced with a spot quiz, with an unexpected or sudden death. In either event, it's safe to say that we already know what's going to be on the test. Have you loved God? And have you loved your neighbor?